Hello everybody, Fatimix here. Welcome back to more of AI War Fleet Command. The beginner walkthrough continues, and it's time to take a more in-depth look now at the grand strategy layer, see what our next moves are going to be in expanding our hold in the galaxy. I have marked these with all sorts of priority numbers, and that's going to be our next thing to tackle, looking at all these and seeing what's next. So if we start at the 2s, all of these that say P2, like Javinbu, they're all of the same thing, really. They have the core shield generator E secondary, and that's another one of those that we just have to take out one of. We don't need all of them. And then I've also got a P4 over here, and that's got another backup design server. Now we may want to corrupt that design, we may want to download it, but if we download it, it's going to cost more. As we mentioned before, it's 1.5 times each time you do it, so this one would be 75. We may want to do one more of those. We may want to use our hacking on something else. We only have 20 right now. We don't have a lot to use, so that's definitely not going to be a right-away thing. And if we look at this one, there it is. That's the Laser Gatling, which is not a ship I'm hugely excited about getting, and it's also not a ship I'm hugely worried about the AI having. So I may very well just say, you know what, I'm going to use my hacking on something else. Okay, what about the P5s? Well, here's an example. Those all have the core shield C secondary, which is the same as the others, I believe, allowing for us to just take one of them out. Let's take a look at where that is. Here we go. Yes, destroy any one of the generators in the group and the rest self-destruct. So we don't need to take all of these. But the reason they have the C secondary is that they're specifically tied to another item. The Mark V Fabricator. In this case, it's an electric shuttle one. So if we capture this planet, then we get this along with it. And that allows us to build a Mark V ship. Now, obviously, having Mark V ships, which is the best there is, it's as good as the ones the AI can make even for their home worlds. That's a very powerful thing. The electric shuttle is a decent ship. I could use it, I could do without it. It's got the area effect lightning deal going on and is good in groups against larger groups. Just a few electric shuttles, or when it's only attacking a group of a few ships, not that beneficial. But against large groups of fleet ships can be more effective. The Mark V Fabricator is generally worth taking. We might want to go with more rather than less. But it only gives us the Mark V version of the ship. We can't research the other ones by getting that. So we've got over here, we've got the Raptor one, the Raptor Mark V. Well, we're going to be building lots of Raptors. We're probably going to want to get that one. So that's going to be on the probably going to get list. This one is complicated by the fact that it's right next to a Mark IV planet. So if we take this, we have to take into consideration, yeah, we get the Mark V electric shuttle, but we also have to deal with this or conquer this, which is its own set of worms. So we may just end up leaving that alone. Then we've got another one up here, and that is the autocannon, which I'm not a particularly huge fan of. And it's next to 3 different Mark III planets. So we've got kind of a tough choice here because 2 of these are in really bad locations, and who knows, this one might be as well because of this system close by. But even if it's a powerful system here, I'm probably going to want the Mark V Raptor. I don't know about these, and they'll be optional at that point. So this is probably a decision that I'm just going to sort of punt on and make later once we get some more information. So then we have some priority 6s. Why did I mark those? Well, the thing those have in common is that they all have a data center, which we can completely ignore if we want. It looks a lot like the design backup server, but it has a different function. It's a server farm, and if we take these out, we don't need to take out the whole system. We just take out this one unit, which has extremely low health, just 2,000. So it's a pop up, pop in, knock it out, and leave. It's a raid type of operation you usually want to go with for those. And that reduces AI progress by 20. Now, notice at the bottom it says it only reduces it by 15 if you're on difficulty 8, and it only reduces it by 10 if you're on difficulty 9 or above. So, when we get to the higher difficulties, assuming that I'm good enough to do that, this is going to be a less effective tactic. But right now, the minus 20 basically means we can lose virtually nothing in terms of AI progress. You can trade a data center for another system and keep the same AI progress level you had before. Very significant. So we're going to want to look at those. And any that we can reasonably reach are probably worth taking out. Since this is a beginner game, I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. I'm only going to take the ones that are nearby to my system. But most of the time, you really want to look for those and take them out as quickly as you can. And then, of course, we have the priority 7s, which are the advanced research stations. We definitely want those. And we've got one here. We already talked about that one. We have another one over here. So we're definitely going to want to take that. And that would also, like, once we do this, that data center is going to be nearby to get. And if we ever want it, that design backup server as well. So given this, what do we want to do next? Do want to beef up defenses first. Because we did have that one raid in here that we had a little bit of trouble with. I feel like we need more turret defenses. And we also have enough energy now. We've got almost a third of it free. We can afford to invest a little bit more in that. And then, I think to strike out, we're definitely going to want this system. Let's get that advanced research station. Get another ship type. This is definitely a good priority. And then since it's right next door and is going to be a threat, I'm going to want to take out this Mark III system. And that'll knock out the E secondary core shield generator objective. And once those two things have been accomplished, then we can scout out a little bit further. Probably find out for sure what's there. Maybe we'll want to skip through over to Orkzunu and get the Mark V Raptor. Maybe we'll want to do something else. We should be able to push our scouting a little bit further, at least in this direction, maybe in this direction. Just get a little bit more information before we go further. Okay, so here's what we ended up with in terms of our defensive implementation. I basically just built a bunch more turrets. You can see that we're using almost half the turrets, well, between a third and a half here. I've gotten rid of, there was some mines and everything around Osmody. Got rid of those to free up the energy. You can see we used up most of the energy that we had. We've still got some left over, but not a lot, which is sort of where I'd like to be. I also added more mines. We've got about 25 around each wormhole instead of 15. So I just basically beefing everything up with more numbers. I could have unlocked more stuff. We have enough knowledge to do that. I decided to wait on that because I thought we had enough energy and enough extra stuff to build more. Now this is in Slavboom. Not everywhere is the same. Now over in Usmar I went a little bit heavier. You can see we've got less, now it's over half being used here, less turrets remaining. And the main reason I did that is because Ayata Thera is a Mark III planet, so I figure the most dangerous attacks are going to come from here. I really wanted to beef up defenses around that wormhole. And then I also split up our fleet a little bit. And what I did is I put a quarter of our fleet ships here in Group 1. That's going to just hang out at our homeworld, where I also built 2 extra force fields. So now we have 3 force fields protecting this command station. Actually, these 2 are a little far away, so I'm going to move them in. But in any case, 3 force fields protecting the command station instead of 1. Just, again, the theme of overprotecting. Make sure everything is totally set. And that still leaves us 400 ships to go on the attack with. I didn't want to put... Yeah, let's pull the Bomber 2s out of here. Because I only want to use the Mark I fleet ships for defense. And I did put a flagship in with them to boost their attack. So now we've got 107 in our defensive fleet. It's just going to go around and help out wherever there's any situations that it's needed. And then 426 in our main attack fleet. And we haven't had any problems taking out anything we've needed to attack. So that's been good for us. We used up about a third of our metal, which is no big deal. We've been sitting on a max storage of that for quite a while. So now I think we're ready to head out again. And we want to take down Mersey and get that advanced research station. See how that turns out for us. Okay, so here we are in Mersey, and we have a little bit of a complicated situation going on. First of all, they've sent in several riot control starships and a few others from other systems, mostly from Javinbu, and that's one thing that's going to happen over time, more reinforcements. So the AI is generally building up their ships in neighboring systems, and they're going to send them to help. That makes things a little bit more difficult as time progresses. Now we've taken out a force field and the Special Forces command post, or guard post rather, that was under that. We've got a couple more here. We've got this Needler guard post with a force field, and I've got most of my ships attacking it, but not all of them. I've split them into two groups because this is good against, among other things, missile frigates, the armor ships, and most of my starships. So I've got them in this group over here, group 2, and they're going to head up this way because they want to help take out this Tachyon Sentinel, but they've got to keep out of range of this, and they've got to keep out of range also of the MLRS guard post over here. So that sort of complicates things, but I'd like to take out this Tachyon Sentinel. And these don't do a huge amount, but they hit for 80 times 5 every 10 seconds. They are going to whittle away at my ships if I don't get rid of them. So these are trying to come up into this area, get rid of that without going too close to the other stuff. I'm going to need to watch them closely. This group is going after the Needler guard post, well, the force field generator first, and then the raid starships, again, are going to go through the field and hit that. Don't have the plasma siege because this is good against that. Don't have the bomber starship. It's a little bit rough on that score. So let's see how this goes. I'd like to get these just close enough to take out that. I don't want them getting too close over there. And oh look, we got another riot control ship coming in. Okay, bingo. Now you get out of range. Just get, nope. I don't care about you attacking. No, get out of range. And look what we have here. We have a reprisal warning. We've now lost enough ships in this system in a short enough time for the first period, time that I've seen that now we're going to have an issue. We got to take out that riot control ship as soon as it comes in range. But no, not. I'm grabbing the wrong group. Goodness. Yeah. This has not been special. There we go. Now that's gone. Finish this up. But you can see it can get a little interesting here. And the AI is going to use the metal salvage from our ships to send more ships at us. Good thing we beefed up our defenses, huh? Okay. So that's done. And now what I want to do is group everything back up in between taking out these chasers. And then I'm going to split off more ships because I want to go after the MLRS post, but only with the ships that are going to be reasonably good at that. And fortunately for this part of it, most of our ships are fine against the MLRS post. Only the fighters and a couple other things that I have to split off over here. And so all of that went extremely well by comparison. We're working on taking out another Tachyon Sentinel. And I do want to get rid of all of those. But this is pretty much all over but the shouting. Still waiting to see what happens with that reprisal wave. With a little bit more resistance, we did successfully take over Mersey, and it only cost us about 100 ships, about a quarter of our attack force. So that's still more than usual, but it's not anything that we're going to cry over. And now we have secured it. The only thing I didn't put up in Mersey is the mines, because we're running a little bit low on mines. And that far away from the homeworld, I'm just going to do without them. Now, we did get laser Gatlings, which is not my favorite thing to get, but hey, it is something. You can see we can build a ton of them, 272. So I don't want that space dock, though. I want this one. And then for these, we can build, compared to the Raptors, build about 5 or 6 of these. So I'm just going to do the 5 cycle. And go ahead and let those build. And they're taking their time here, because there's so many of them. Okay, so now let's split these up. Just going to take the laser Gatlings themselves, and I'm going to split them in a quarter. And have them join. There we go. I think I actually split them further than I wanted to there. Yeah, I did. Grab another group of them. Doesn't have to be, I'm not too concerned about being exactly a quarter. I just want to be roughly close. So we'll go ahead and make that our new defensive fleet. And it's got 90-some laser Gatlings, which is actually a little more than I wanted to leave behind. Whatever. And the rest of this is going to go off and join our main fleet. Because those are the Gatlings plus everything we had to rebuild. Just over 100 ships. And you can see what we lost here. Mostly Raptors and fighters. And over here, of course, we've got our turrets. No mines, as I mentioned. Some of these ships are pretty damaged. I'm going to want to collect them all over here and get them repaired. But also, they've been coming in a little bit. We've been taking care of the fight just fine. It hasn't been any problem. And we took out the A' core shield generator. And we have our advanced research station, which of course is where we got the laser Gatlings from. So now our next task is to move out further. We're going to want to group up and handle Javinbu, which is going to be a little bit more interesting. We've got a barracks there. It's a Mark III planet, so it's going to be having Mark III guard posts, but it's got multiple posts. But the MLRS is the only one with significant weapons on it. So the barracks is probably going to be the key thing there. And it's got an ion cannon as well, so we're going to need to devise a strategy to take that out. I do think, though, that I'm going to cut off this episode here, and Javinbu will probably be a little bit involved, so I'll save that for next time. We're going to have that attack next, taking out the E-secondary core shield generators. We're going to be waiting to see what they do with that reprisal wave that's coming. And then we're also going to be looking at trying to scout out a little bit further, get a little more information, and perhaps plotting our next move. So all of that will be coming up soon on AI War Fleet Command. Beginner walkthrough continuing. Until then, thanks for watching. We will be back soon.